This lesson shows how ideas about evolution developed by comparing the work of Jean-Baptiste Lamarck with the joint theory of natural selection proposed by Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace, and it also explains why the theory was only gradually accepted. Before Darwin and Wallace, the most widely discussed scientific idea was put forward by Lamarck, who suggested that organisms change during their lifetime by using or not using certain parts, and that these changes, such as a giraffe stretching its neck to reach leaves, are then passed to offspring. But he had no convincing evidence and no workable mechanism for heredity. Darwin gathered key observations during a long voyage around the world, and in the Galapagos Islands, he noticed closely related finches with different beaks and tortoises with different shells, and he recorded that living things show small differences within a species and that more young are produced than can survive. Wallace independently studied wildlife in South America and later in the Malay archipelago, and through intense fieldwork, he also concluded that individuals with helpful differences survive better, and he wrote to Darwin describing this idea, which matched Darwin's own thinking. Together, Darwin and Wallace explained natural selection as a four-step process in which a population shows variation. There is a struggle for survival because resources are limited. Individuals with advantageous characteristics are more likely to survive and reproduce, and their offspring inherit those characteristics, so the population gradually changes. They supported the idea with several lines of evidence that people could already see at the time, including the fossil record, which shows forms changing through time, similarities in body plans between related species, the way species on islands resemble those on the nearest mainland, and the power of selective breeding in farm animals and crops. After Wallace sent his letter, the two men presented their ideas together to a scientific society in the year 1858, and Darwin published a detailed book the following year that laid out evidence and arguments for descent with modification by natural selection. Natural selection provides a clear explanation for adaptations, such as beak shapes in the Galapagos finches that match different foods, and the warning or mimicking patterns in butterflies that reduce the chance of being eaten. Lamarck's proposal is different because it assumes that traits acquired during a lifetime are inherited, yet experiments and later understanding of heredity showed that changes like bodybuilding or ear piercing are not passed to children, so his mechanism does not fit the evidence. The theory of evolution by natural selection was accepted only slowly because many people objected on religious or social grounds, because the molecular basis of inheritance was unknown, because transitional fossils were fewer than today, and because the new idea challenged long-held beliefs about the origin of species. Acceptance grew as more evidence arrived, including the rediscovery of the work of Gregor Mendel on inheritance in the early 20th century, and later the modern synthesis, which united genetics with evolution and provided a solid mechanism for how variation is inherited and how populations change over generations. To summarize, Lamarck helped start the conversation, but his mechanism does not match the evidence, while Darwin and Wallace used observations to propose natural selection. Evidence from fossils and biogeography and selective breeding supported the idea, and later genetics and many new discoveries confirmed it and led to broad acceptance.